There is a moment in life when you realize something uncomfortable. No matter how hard you try, no matter how carefully you act, someone will always criticize you. Someone will misunderstand you. Someone will judge you. And if your peace depends on the opinions of others, you will spend your entire life emotionally imprisoned. But Stoic philosophy offers a radical alternative. What if the opinions of others never had the power you believe they have? What if the real source of your suffering was not their judgment, but your attachment to it? Welcome to Master Your Mind, the place where philosophy becomes psychological strength. Here we explore Stoic wisdom, discipline, and mental mastery to help you build a mind that remains calm and powerful in a chaotic world. Today we are going to explore one of the most liberating ideas ever written in Stoic philosophy, a principle taught by the Greek philosopher Epictetus more than 2,000 years ago. The understanding that your peace begins the moment you stop trying to control what was never yours to control. Most people spend their lives fighting invisible battles. They try to control how others see them, how others speak about them, how others judge their actions. But this struggle is unwinnable, because other people's opinions exist outside your control. And the moment you anchor your self-worth to something you cannot control, instability becomes inevitable. Epictetus explained this idea with brutal clarity. Some things are within our control, and some things are not. Within your control are your thoughts, your judgments, your choices, your actions. Outside your control are your reputation, the opinions of others, your social status, and countless external events that shape the world around you. Yet most people live as if this boundary does not exist. They obsess over reputation. They fear criticism. They adjust their behavior constantly to avoid disapproval. And slowly, without realizing it, they surrender the authority over their own mind. Imagine a ship in the middle of the ocean. The captain cannot control the wind, the waves, or the storms that appear on the horizon, but he can control how he steers the ship. In the same way, you cannot control the thoughts inside other people's minds, but you can control the direction of your own character. When someone insults you, the words themselves do not harm you. The harm appears only when you accept the insult as truth. When someone criticizes you, the criticism does not define you. It only gains power when you internalize it without reflection. Epictetus taught that emotional disturbance does not come from events themselves, but from the judgments we attach to them. This means something remarkable. The same insult that destroys one person's confidence may leave another person completely untouched. The difference is not the insult. The difference is the interpretation. This realization is one of the most powerful forms of freedom a human being can discover. Because once you understand that your reaction belongs to you, you begin to reclaim control over your emotional world. Instead of reacting automatically to every criticism, every rumor, every negative opinion, you begin to pause. You observe the situation before responding. And in that small pause between stimulus and response, something extraordinary becomes possible. Choice. You can choose whether to react with anger or calm. You can choose whether to absorb criticism or analyze it rationally. You can choose whether someone else's opinion deserves space inside your mind. Most people never develop this discipline. They react instantly to external judgment. Their mood rises and falls according to the approval or rejection they receive from others. But a Stoic mind operates differently. It understands that external opinions are temporary, unstable, and often based on incomplete information. People judge according to their own fears, their own biases, their own limited perspectives. And when you recognize this clearly, something begins to change inside you. The need for constant validation slowly disappears. Instead of trying to control how others perceive you, you focus on something far more powerful, the discipline of controlling yourself. Because real strength is not the ability to silence critics. Real strength is the ability to remain steady in the presence of criticism. And once you begin to understand this principle, a profound shift starts to happen in the way you move through the world. You stop wasting energy trying to manage every opinion around you. You stop explaining yourself to people who have already decided how they see you. And slowly, almost invisibly, your mind becomes quieter, because much of the anxiety people carry comes from a single habit, the constant attempt to control how they are perceived. Think about how much of human behavior is shaped by this invisible pressure. People hesitate to speak honestly because they fear judgment. They abandon their values to avoid criticism. They chase approval from people whose respect they never truly needed in the first place. And the tragedy is that this pursuit of approval rarely produces the result they expect. Because the more someone tries to please everyone, the less authentic their presence becomes. Stoic philosophy approaches this problem with remarkable clarity. It teaches that your character should not be designed around the expectations of others, but around your own principles. When your actions are aligned with your values, external judgment loses its power. This does not mean criticism becomes pleasant or comfortable, but it does mean that criticism no longer controls your emotional state. Imagine for a moment what your life would look like if you truly internalized this idea. If you acted according to your best judgment without constantly worrying about how others might interpret your decisions. If you spoke honestly without needing universal approval. If you accepted that misunderstanding is sometimes the price of authenticity. This is the mindset that Epictetus tried to cultivate in his students. A mind that remains stable even when the world around it becomes chaotic. One of the most powerful exercises he suggested was surprisingly simple. When someone insults you, pause before reacting. Ask yourself a question. Is this opinion within my control? The answer is always no. You cannot control what others think, but you can control how much influence their thoughts have over your emotional state. This small mental shift changes everything, because instead of entering a defensive reaction, you enter a state of observation. You examine the situation calmly. Sometimes the criticism may contain truth, and if it does, it becomes an opportunity for improvement. Other times it may be completely misguided, based on misunderstanding or projection. And if that is the case, it deserves no emotional investment at all. Either way, the situation no longer disturbs your inner stability. Marcus Aurelius practiced this idea constantly during his life as a Roman emperor. Despite ruling one of the most powerful empires in history, he reminded himself daily that the opinions of others were fleeting and unreliable. Some people would praise him excessively, others would criticize him unfairly, but neither praise nor criticism should determine his character, because character must come from within, not from the voices surrounding you. This level of independence is not arrogance, it is clarity. It is the understanding that your mind is a space that must be protected carefully. Just as you would not allow strangers to walk freely into your home and rearrange your belongings, you should not allow random opinions to invade your mind and dictate your emotional state. Yet many people do exactly that every day. A comment on the internet ruins their mood. A negative remark from a colleague stays in their thoughts for hours. A moment of criticism becomes a story they repeat to themselves again and again. Over time, these small emotional reactions accumulate. They create stress, insecurity, and the constant feeling of being evaluated by the world. But the Stoic path offers a different possibility. A life where your emotional stability is governed by your own discipline rather than by external judgment. And the moment you begin practicing this discipline, something remarkable happens. The same criticisms that once disturbed you begin to lose their intensity. The same opinions that once shaped your behavior begin to feel less important, because you have shifted your focus from something unstable to something solid, your own character. And this is where the deepest transformation begins. When you stop organizing your life around the opinions of others, your energy becomes focused again. Instead of constantly adjusting yourself to match external expectations, you begin directing your attention towards something far more important, the development of your own character. Because in the Stoic view, your reputation does not belong to you. It lives in the minds of other people, shaped by their interpretations, their biases, and their limited understanding of your life. But your character belongs entirely to you. It is formed through your decisions, your discipline, and the way you choose to act when no one is watching. This is why the Stoics placed so much importance on internal authority. A person who governs their own mind cannot easily be disturbed by external judgment. When praise arrives, they accept it calmly without becoming dependent on it. When criticism appears, they examine it rationally without allowing it to define them. Their emotional stability does not fluctuate according to the reactions of the crowd. It remains grounded in something far more stable, self-respect. And self-respect grows through evidence. Every time you act according to your principles instead of chasing approval, you strengthen it. Every time you remain calm in the presence of criticism, you reinforce it. Every time you choose discipline over emotional reaction, you build psychological proof that your mind belongs to you. This process gradually creates a new identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who needs validation from others, and you begin seeing yourself as someone capable of leading their own life. And when this shift happens, something interesting occurs in your interactions with the world. The same people whose opinions once influenced you so strongly begin to feel less intimidating. Conversations become more natural because you are no longer performing for approval. Your words become more deliberate because they come from conviction rather than fear. Your presence becomes calmer because your mind is no longer divided between your values and other people's expectations. Ironically, this is often the moment when respect begins to appear naturally. Not because you demanded it, and not because you tried to impress anyone, but because authenticity carries a different kind of weight. People instinctively recognize when someone is not desperately seeking approval. They recognize the calm confidence of someone who knows where they stand. And this is the paradox that many people spend years trying to understand. The respect they were chasing never came from trying to be liked. It came from being internally stable, from being someone whose actions are guided by principles rather than by popularity. Epictetus believed that a person who seeks constant approval becomes a slave to those whose opinions they fear. But a person who governs their own mind becomes free. Free to act according to reason. Free to remain calm in the presence of criticism. Free to pursue a life guided by discipline and clarity, rather than by external validation. And if you are serious about developing this kind of internal strength, about transforming philosophy into practical mental discipline that strengthens the way you think, act, and lead your life, then take the next step. The Master Your Mind program was created exactly for this purpose. It is designed to help you build emotional control, mental clarity, and the psychological discipline required to lead your life from the inside out. You will find the link in the description. Start strengthening your mind today. And if this message resonated with you, subscribe to the channel and stay committed to the path of self-mastery. I will see you in the next video.